The Americans have been bombing IS in Iraq at the request of the Iraqi government. They are unlikely to get a UN resolution to extend the strikes to the IS power base in Syria. The bombers won't get an invitation from the Syrian government either, without the kind of deal with the regime which Washington and London say would be unacceptable. There's another legal argument for bombing about protecting civilians, but it's very controversial. Whatever happens, if the NATO allies want to fight IS, they'll need to build a coalition. Saudi Arabia and Iran both see IS as a threat, but they back opposing sides in the Syrian war. The Saudis support Sunni Muslim rebels, some of which now support the group which calls itself Islamic State. Iran supports Assad, and it talks of cooperation against IS.
We also face the rise of extremism and terrorism in our region, which will go beyond a single community or a single state. So it requires us to work together and to seek common solutions for these common challenges.
Many IS fighters traveled through Turkey to get to Syria and Iraq. From Turkey, you can see IS flags flying in a town they control just over the Syrian border. Turkey's President Erdogan celebrated a national holiday at the weekend before he left for the NATO summit. His allies might be pressing him to tighten up the Turkish border. The conflict with IS is tearing apart the already ragged state of Iraq. In northern Iraq, Kurdish Peshmerga fighters are seen as a vital force against IS. So far, they've had more promises of weapons from abroad than deliveries. The Kurds say they need much more, much faster.
We need heavy and advanced weapons that can push back seriously on ISIS. They have managed to get their hands on American weapons that the Iraqi army left behind. We don't have anything to deal with that, so we need to be able to match ISIS with the weapons that they have.
What if you don't get that kind of support quickly?
I don't know how we or the rest of the world expect ISIS to be defeated unless there is a proper fight. You can't fight ISIS with one hand tied behind your back.
Inshallah, this is not the first border we will break. Inshallah, we will break other borders also. But
IS propaganda boasts of how they've abolished the border between Iraq and Syria. They want to remake the Middle East. The turbulence in the region means a response is very difficult.